cases, and its effect continues to spread into sports. Find out what teams are feeling the effects. The theater department at Mississippi State is keeping their curtains closed a little longer. John Michael Phillips has the details. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a public leader? Take 30 News' David Smith followed Mayor Lynn Spruill for a day in the life. Your Take 30 News starts now. The format of the second presidential debate was released. President Trump decided to opt out of the event. Both candidates, however, participated in town hall events in another attempt to reach voters. Take 30's Dalton Whitfield has the story.
Although the second presidential debate candidates from speaking to voters, this time in competing town halls on dueling networks at the exact same time. President Trump on NBC and former Vice President Joe Biden on ABC. The coronavirus was the most talked about topic. This was the first time President Trump talked about his own struggle with COVID-19, as well as defending how he has handled the pandemic so far.
The lungs are, a little bit different, a little bit perhaps infected. Many people are getting this disease that was sent to us by China, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. But many people are getting this, and nobody's being blamed. Everybody is working hard to get this thing out of our country.
President Trump was also asked if he denounced white supremacy, a topic that he received criticism for in the first debate.
I denounce white supremacy, okay?
You did
I've
2 days
denounced
later.
white supremacy for years, but you always do it. You always start off with a question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa.
Vice President Biden was also asked about COVID-19 and what he would have done differently.
From March on, I stopped doing big meetings. I started wearing masks. So it was at a time when the science was saying, and his key people, Dr. Fauci, was saying, you should be taking these precautions. So what we should be doing now, there should be a national standard.
Vice President Biden was asked about his tax cuts and appeared to change his mind on the issue since an earlier rally.
People say, well, Joe, how are you going to do all this? Well, guess what? First thing I do is going to repeal this Trump tax cut.
$3 trillion of the $2 trillion in his tax cuts went to the top 1/10 of 1%. That's what I'm talking about eliminating, not all the tax cuts.
With just weeks before the election, both candidates are campaigning to win the job for president. With Take 30 News, I'm Dalton Whitfield.
Mississippi will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on November 3rd for the general election. Lynn Spruill has been the mayor of Starkville for the past 3.5 years, and has led Starkville through the COVID-19 pandemic. Take 30's David Smith got the opportunity to follow Mayor Spruill and observe how COVID-19 has impacted her day-to-day routine.
Average day during COVID, end quote. Beginning at Peters Rock Temple Church on Highway 182 for a meeting about a potential juvenile alternative learning center in Oktibbeha County, servicing the entire Golden Triangle area.
If there's a new facility that needed to be built, I would say do it so that we could all join together and create a more efficient program.
After the meeting, she returned to her office inside City Hall where the mayor replied to emails and returned calls on various topics she missed during her morning meeting. These various topics included the Starkville mask mandate.
So if we do anything, we take a look at it again as school lets out for the upcoming winter. What I hate to do, or upcoming break, what I hate to do is put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off.
From City Hall, she walked down Main Street to a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the Partnership for Honey Brash, a local graphic design company. Mayor Spruill wrapped up her day by signing the White Cane Awareness Day proclamation for October 15th with the MSU National Research and Training Center on Blindness and Low Vision. For Take 30 News, I'm David Smith.
Mayor Lynn Spruill will be running for re-election in 2021. MSU sophomore Aspen Humes organized the sit-down in an effort to combat social injustices and advocate for change. Dr. Keenum delivered a few words of wisdom along with Student Association President Tyler Parker. Aspen Humes joined forces with the Holmes Cultural Diversity Center and the Student Association, Black Voices, and several other organizations to present the sit-down. After witnessing an outcry for change among minorities across the nation, Humes hoped that this would be the beginning of important conversations about racism among the community and their peers.
You were kind of thrown into fighting for social injustice your entire life.
After the break, Theater MSU postpones multiple events. Find out how their long curtain will be closed after the break.
That's because brain and nervous system conditions are difficult to diagnose and treat, especially when they affect patients who can't talk. A while back, we saw a chance to start something special here, introducing innovative imaging to better understand brain and spinal cord diseases in cats and dogs. Having that type of information makes a substantial difference when developing treatment and surgical plans. It also aids in personalizing the rehabilitation process. The toughest part of our job comes when our patients are well enough to go home. As thrilled as we are to see them walk again, a big piece of our heart goes out the door when they leave.
Looking for other housing options were able to talk to prospective leasers. The 2020 Virtual Housing Fair was hosted in addition to the Office of Campus Student Services hosting the event. They also helped students that were unable to look at information discussed on Wednesday.
Partner. Our website is ocss.msstate.edu, and then from there they can click on the link that says Find Your Next Home. They can register using their student information, and then from there they can look at each property that has their information on.
Campus is thriving with visitors and smiling faces behind masks. COVID hasn't stopped touring on Mississippi State's campus. Road runners were seen giving tours all around campus to prospective students and their parents, all the while following safety guidelines that the pandemic has forced.
We were very comfortable. Everyone was wearing a mask. Everyone was socially distanced, and I really did not have any fear of touring the campus at all. Did you?
I didn't, and there was lots of hand sanitizers placed around all over campus. So if you felt, dirty or something, you could wash your hands.
I even saw temperature gauges, which I hadn't seen those either. So.
Hispanic Heritage Month was celebrated September 15th through October 15th. MSU's Holmes Cultural Diversity Center and the Latin Student Association contributed to the festivities by hosting a virtual Latin dance competition this past Wednesday. The guest judge of honor was French Salvadorian dancer Jade Paz-Barret, who participated from Paris, France. Students took to local parks and open fields to show their moves.
Hispanic Heritage Month is a month where we celebrate about the Latino community culturally, socially, economically, and how different families, communities celebrate it, because there's not one way we celebrate it. There's multiple ways, and it's very multicultural and diverse. So iBallet is a virtual dance competition where it's just a way for people to get in the community culturally and just to see different perspectives of what people bring on the dance floor.
Visit LSA's Cowbell Connect and or LSA's Instagram page at LSA_MSState. Theater MSU and Lab Rats Comedy were getting ready to roll out the red carpet for their respective shows, but COVID-19 rolled it right back up. Take 30's John Michael Phillips tells us whether or not this is the curtain call on the fall 2020 season.
We were all called into the office and told, hey, clean it all up, go home, start isolating.
With safety being a main concern for most people during the pandemic, the Mississippi State Theater Department has ordered a temporary 2-week shutdown of extracurricular functions because of concerns about COVID-19.
There were some incidents with students having contact with and that sparked a department-wide shutdown of all functions, including school plays, extracurricular shows.
With the fall 2020 semester already being cut short, how to reschedule Lab Rats shows has become a main concern for the Lab Rats director.
We were already cramming multiple shows into the month of October, which is a lot more than usual. We usually have a show every month, but since this shortened semester, we're doing 2, even 3 a month. With the isolation and theater department shutdown, the month of November will probably be pretty busy.
Theater MSU has already rescheduled showings of the play Ann and Emmett for early November.
There will be probably strict COVID guidelines in the show, but I'm excited to see where the shows go. I've been seeing rehearsals and they look really good. I think it'd be a good opportunity to, prove what we can do, especially with rough situations.
Ladner was on the job when first told the shutdown would last for 2 weeks.
I was actually working in the theater when it happened. Thankfully, people are taking it pretty seriously, so hopefully we'll be out of the woods pretty soon in regards to this situation.
For Take 30 News, I'm John Michael Phillips.
For updates regarding information about rescheduled shows, follow Theater MSU and Lab Rats Comedy on their respective social media accounts. The MSU opera production hosted the Bulldogs Cabaret today at 3:30 p.m. through Facebook Live. It consisted of a variety of classical Broadway musicals and other songs. Check out their Facebook page to see a playback of the show. After the break, learn more about MSU-related business is creating a safe way to celebrate Halloween.
Mississippi State University, our Carl Small Town Center is strengthening these ties. With nearly 40 years of making a difference, we're revitalizing communities into welcoming places to work, live, and congregate. By weaving together the best pieces of our past with modern technology and amenities, we're creating the hometowns of the future. Places where lifetime memories can be made, where you have all the things you need, along with all the things you want. Through partnerships with our communities, we're identifying improvement opportunities, recommending paths forward, and creating the plans for a better tomorrow. Have you ever thought about what it would take to eliminate one of the most dreaded illnesses of the year? At Mississippi State University, we're dreaming big, fast on the heels of scientific discoveries that will lead to the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of flu and other illnesses. For researchers, the biggest challenge is keeping pace with viruses that are constantly evolving to become more contagious. But at Mississippi State, we have the upper hand. Our scientists are working with teams around the world to predict when and where new viruses will emerge, combining forces to create flu vaccines before epidemics actually hit. That's because, as a premier research university, we believe it is our responsibility to help improve the lives of those around us. And we're working hard to help create a world where the flu is something children will one day read about in history books.
Palooza in Starkville has been canceled, the Idea Shop in downtown Starkville will continue the Talladega Gourd 500 race this year. This race encourages families or businesses to decorate their own pumpkins to enter and raise money for Oktibbeha County Humane Society. The Idea Shop also host a free virtual costume contest. Both events will be held on October 22nd. Virtual 5K on Saturday, October 24th. This event supports MSU's Student Relief Fund. Registered participants will receive a virtual runner's bib and a certificate of participation. Participants of the 5K can share their best MSU-themed racing gear for a chance to be featured by the MSU Alumni Association and the Office of Annual Giving. It's officially game day weekend in Starkville. We'll toss it over to student meteorologist Brianna Lewis for this weekend's weather forecast. Thousands will tune in to watch the game tomorrow. Take a look at who makes it all possible. Many moving parts are involved in preparation for a successful Bulldog game day, and ESPN is no stranger to making sure that every operation runs smoothly when it comes to COVID-19 being prevalent. Typical operations can no longer be done, making things a bit more challenging for ESPN camera operator Torin Pippins.
It is. We make sure that we're all on the same page with our operational producer to make sure that everything flows smoothly. Now that we're in the times with COVID, now we get in on Wednesday, do a COVID test. We have to quarantine for the rest of that day on Wednesday and the whole day Thursday. Then, once we get cleared through a portal, we then come in on Friday at 9 o'clock.
So, Holly, what can we expect this weekend in sports?
Well, Elizabeth, after break, we're going to look at COVID-19 cases in the SEC as well as the Aggies game that will be played this Saturday. Take 30 Sports is next.
When it comes to life on the coast, it's the world beneath the waves that supports the world above. So when an integral part of a delicate ecosystem disappears, economies on land are disrupted and livelihoods are lost. At Mississippi State University, we're aggressively confronting this issue on the Mississippi coast, where 90% of the local oyster population has vanished over the past decade due to circumstances both natural and man-made. In response, we're building computer models to simulate oyster movement and sustainability, models to determine strategic placement of artificial reefs to not only boost the dwindling food source, but to aid in coastal storm resilience and water filtration. It's a project that's paving the way for a healthier, cleaner coastline and a rejuvenated local economy. And for us here at MSU, that's more than just a good cause. It's one we can sink our teeth into. Flight. It's driven mankind's dreams for centuries. The ability to soar above the earth, to travel to faraway places, to connect distant points. Manned flights to the moon and space were once the stars for which we reached. Now, unmanned aircraft are the future. At Mississippi State University, our teams are developing unmatched unmanned aircraft systems for an array of critical applications. We're so good at it, the Federal Aviation Administration named MSU a Center of Excellence in the field, asking us to lead the team that's creating the operating regulations for unmanned aircraft systems worldwide. So essentially, we're writing the flight plan for an industry that is the future. Our work means better information, more opportunity, and limitless horizons for you. The sky really is the only limit.
On sports all year, and now the SEC is feeling it. Big matchups like Florida versus LSU and Vanderbilt versus Missouri were both postponed due to COVID outbreaks, the first of the season. Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin also said they were experiencing bad outbreak, but would not go into detail. Nick Saban was diagnosed with COVID earlier this week, but says he has no symptoms. Others in the Alabama athletic department have it as well. As this has been happening in the NFL as well, the SEC has said they will do what they can to avoid canceling games and will consider everyone's safety. Mike Leach said this week, all games in the SEC are must-win, but this week is truly a must-win. The Bulldogs desperately need a victory this week to turn the season around, and there is no time like the present to do it. Coach Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies come to town at 3 p.m. for a 3 p.m. kickoff against the Bulldogs, all eyes being on State's quarterback KJ Costello after 2 less than stellar performances. Turnovers and decision-making the last few weeks have been hindering the entire offense. With A&M's explosive offense, scoring is going to be essential for the Bulldogs to stay in this game. The clanging of the cowbells inside Davis Wade will be a welcoming sound for the Dogs, but if you didn't get a ticket, the game will be broadcasted on ESPN's main channel. Now we go from State to Sundays. Bulldog fans cringed as Dak Prescott was carted off the Dallas Cowboys field, and the Dallas Cowboys quarterback and, of course, Mississippi State's former quarterback went awkwardly down on his ankle for a gruesome injury, which required surgery. He will be on the sidelines for a minimum of 6 months as he recovers. Bulldog fans, have your back, Dak. Mississippi State fans will want to tune in on Sunday afternoon as 10 former Bulldogs are slated to suit up for a noon kickoff on Week 6 of the NFL action. Highlighting the early game schedule is the Baltimore-Philadelphia game on CBS, and that matchup is the only one on the calendar this week to feature former Bulldogs going to head-to-head. Now going to the Diamond Dogs to the championship series. Hunter Renfrow and Nate Lowe have gotten in on the action as they look to help Tampa Bay reach the World Series for the first time since 2008. The Rays hold a 3-2 series lead and have a chance to go to the Fall Classic. First pitch is at 6 p.m. tonight on TBS. The MSU campus will be lively this weekend with several sports back home. Tonight, the Hail State Classic Tennis Tournament is being held on campus and will continue throughout the weekend. Before football kicks off on Saturday, head to the Grist to watch your Hail State volleyball team take on the Arkansas Razorbacks at 11 a.m. Those matches will be on the SEC Plus digital network on Saturday, and they will meet again on Sunday at noon on ESPNU. The Starkville High School Yellow Jackets are on the tear this season as they currently are ranked #1 in the state and 44th nationally. The MSU commits Marion Howard and Rufus Harvey have been lighting up the scoreboard on offense. And the undefeated Yellow Jackets travel to Madison on Friday night for a showdown against Madison Central. That's a wrap on your sports report for this week. Coming up after the break, get filled in on all of your entertainment news. Take 30, we'll be right back.
When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes. But more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see.
The Idea Shop Party Lock-In Gaming Tournament tonight from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Tickets are $20 and participants can enter the Call of Duty and Fortnite tournaments for a chance to win gaming gear. You must be at least 18 years old to participate in the event. Also in Starkville, Down to Game, a local card and game shop, will be hosting a weekly Pioneer tournament for the card game Magic the Gathering on Sunday, October 18th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pioneer is Magic's newest non-rotating format. Showtime looks to take another stab at their hit series Dexter. The revival series will be 10 episodes and is scheduled to air in the fall of 2021. Fans everywhere are hoping Showtime rights some wrongs after the original ending was one of the most criticized endings in television history. That's all for entertainment. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Well, that's all for Take 30 News. For extended coverage, follow our social media pages at Take 30 News MSU and Take 30 Podcast every Monday on all of our favorite podcast hosts. Have a safe and healthy weekend. Good night from the MSU campus.